you guys. So I'm noticing a whole bunch of videos and questions showing up on various sites, really regarding the first-time gardener, wondering how to do some very, very basic things that most of us that have been gardening for a while know. So if you know how to plant tomatoes, you know how to plant tomatillos, you can go ahead and skip this video, but you might learn something, right? So I start my tomatoes from seed, and this could be overwhelming for the first-time gardener, so I'm not going to talk about this right now. I will just say that I've got black Cherokee tomato here, cherry tomato there, paste tomatoes here, and then tomatillos here. And I'm just going to show you how to plant some tomatoes and tomatillos just really quickly. Let's go to a bed. Okay, so I have a couple tomatoes in this small container, and this is probably the way you're going to do this the first time you get tomatoes. They might be bigger, they might be smaller, but the first thing you want to do is to make sure that they actually have 4 true leaves. So what's a true leaf? When a tomato or any plant first sprouts, it has these 2 tiny kind of bitty little leaves, right? And they initially look kind of like a blade of grass, and then you get like the real tomato leaf, right? So in order to plant these in the ground and know that it's going to be successful, you need to make sure it has 4 true leaves. So you don't count the little babies. You go 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, I've got 5, 6 on that one. 1, 2 of the fake baby little leaves. They're not fake, they're babies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm good on both of these. So that's the first thing you want to do. Second thing you want to do is make sure that the ground is warm enough to accept the plant. I'll put the temperature down there. I think it's about 60 or 65 degrees Fahrenheit. I can't remember off the top of my head, but my ground is warm enough. So the second thing you're going to do is choose a site. Or the third thing, sorry, you're going to choose a site. So what I have here are some stock tanks. These stock tanks I plant many things in during the season. So far in these 6 stock tanks I have had daffodils and tulips. So they bloomed, they grew, they died back, and I got rid of the leaves once they died off. Then asparagus, and that's what this is. This is all asparagus. And it is starting, the season is starting to end on the asparagus, so it's ferning out, but that's okay. I'm going to leave it. It's going to get skinny and tall, but it's not going to interfere with anything growing in here. Now I'm going to plant tomatoes and tomatillos in this. So one bed, 5 or 6 different things, and it's going to work just fantastic. All right, so third thing, pick a bed. Fourth thing is getting the damn tomatoes out of the stupid container, right? So make sure that the dirt in here is wet. If it's dry and you try to tug on these little things a little bit, they might come out, all that dirt might fall away, which isn't a problem, but you can damage the plant. I give it a little tug. If it doesn't come out easily, stop. Get yourself something that will fit into here. It could be a butter knife. It could be, this is a spackle knife that I've actually trimmed down to fit into all my different size containers to the smallest container. But this is a kind of a big container, and the one you have at home could be just as big. So anyway, all you're going to do is, you're loosening it like a cake. Loosen like a cake. And then you might have to give a little squeezy squeeze. No problem, all right? I do upside down. I let the plant fall into my hand. Keep this. You're going to use it again next year. So now I have here 2 tomato plants in this one. I could break them apart, but truthfully, I don't care if they're this close together. I've been planting a long time, and I know that 2 tomato plants can be this close together without problem. This is the same plant. Same cherry tomato. These are crammed together. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in this, and I'm going to have to loosen these. So if you have 2 and you want to plant them in a pot, in a container, in the ground, whatever, I think you're okay 2 side by side. But you get up to this many, you got to start loosening these suckers up. And if you start pulling these apart, you're going to break the roots. Can you break the roots? Sure, you can break the roots. But if you break too many roots, you're going to kill the plant. Plus you might kill the tops because you're going to start reefing on this thing. So we're back to a water technique I've showed a gazillion times, where I take the tops and kind of hold it loosely, and I swish this back and forth. With these tomatoes, I'm actually going to hold the dirt, and all that dirt is going to go into this. This is just a bucket with some rainwater in it. You could use tap water if it has chlorine in it. You're on city water, just fill the bucket part way up, leave the water outside for 24 hours. All that chlorine's going to dissipate. All right, so you see most of the dirt's gone now. And ta-da! That's the top secret. Not a lot of people know about that. So I'm going to just kind of pull. Well, I'm not going to pull that one because it doesn't want to come. Do a little more. All right. See how that works? Muy bien. Okay, so we've got 2s. And that's, gosh, this one has come together at the bottom. I'm going to leave it as a 3. I'm going to leave it as a 3 and just see what happens. That is going to be way too close, though, isn't it? Yeah, if I do that, if I try to break this apart, they're really attached down there. I'm going to, well, 3 is just going to be too much. I'm taking a chance. I might break that one. Anyway, okay. So now I've got 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 4, 6. And then I've got my original block. Planting in the original block is the best way so you don't disturb the roots. So now what? Okay, so we found the place we want to plant. We know it's warm enough. We've gotten the tomatoes out of the frickin' container. So now we're going to plant it, right? Now tomatoes and the beautiful tomatillo can be planted really deep. Really deep. Because what's going to happen is these original baby leaves and anything you plant underneath, I'm going to plant it all the way up to there. I'm going to put all this under the ground. When you see this, you're going to see this is fuzzy. All that fuzzy can become roots. So you want a nice, strong tomato plant or tomatillo plant. You plant deep. And you could even plant that deep if you wanted to. I'm going to plant this deep because that's what, 3 inches or more. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pick this area here. And I'm going to plant this one with the dirt block because I think this is really what you're going to be planting. And so what I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to plant it about that deep. Just leave those tops hanging out. So let me grab my planting tool. Alright, so you're going to need something that digs in the dirt. If you're a first-time gardener, you don't know if you're going to like it, or you're dead broke, you can just use a stick. So I'm going to use a stick. If you're wanting to get more on the fancier end, you might buy something like this. This is called a Hori Hori. This particular one is by Barebones, B-A-R-E-B-O-N-E-S. It's a full tang dirt knife. It's got little measures on it. You can saw through roots, cut rope, open up a bottle. But I use this a lot, man. I use it a lot because it can go right into the soil and dig through with no problems. But you know what? We're doing beginner gardening today, so we're not going to wimp out on this. So what we're going to do is dig this. You could use your butter knife too. So what I have to do in this bed, because I have all these artichokes in here, is being really careful not to dig up my artichoke roots. Or it's asparagus roots. And that's an asparagus roots probably to one of these plants. But I can plant around them. So I'm going to just keep digging a little bit here. Alright, so we've got a hole. Now I'm going to do a dry fit. And that looks about good to me. This is below the level of the dirt. Remember, I'm burying this deep. So I'm going to bring in the dirt all around it. Got little weeds in there, no big deal. No big dealio. Try not to crush it. And ta-da, planted tomato. At this point, you're going to want to think about putting some kind of a trellis or system in place so it can grow up and not fall over. These are indeterminate tomatoes, which means they will grow and grow and grow and grow and grow until something stops them from getting taller, like I trim them, or it reaches an impasse or something like that. You know, have you ever seen those ads in the back of the magazines? Get a tomato tree. That's really all it is a trellised tomato. That's an indeterminate. Okay, let's pop over here, plant a bare root. Well, it's now a bare root because I took all the dirt off, and that's all bare root means when you get a bare root, like a fruit tree or something. It just means there's no dirt on it. Alright, I'm hitting a lot of asparagus there, so I'm going to come a little closer to the edge here. Yep, that's good. Keep digging. Remember, we're going to do it deep. See how much easier this is than the stick? Great tool. No, I didn't get paid for that, for saying that. I used my own money. See, I just dug up a daffodil bulb, but I'm just going to put that back in for next year, and I'm going to plant that one about that deep, and this one about this deep, and backfill. So, that's how you do it. Get a marker, popsicle stick, a piece of cardboard, pen and paper, whatever, and mark it so you know what it is, or if you just don't care, just let it grow. And in the next video we'll talk about different kinds of trellising techniques, because right now the lawnmower's coming and you don't want to have to deal with that. So, yeah, let me know if you have any questions. Oh, yeah, and don't forget, after you plant it, you gotta water it in. Don't fertilize it. It's too early to fertilize, you'll burn the roots. But give it a good drink. It'll perk right back up.